Hey everyone, my name's Chelsea Creekmore and I'm the CEO of Creekmore Marketing, and today I'm going to explain how window treatment dealers can use virtual consultations and selling to keep cash flowing through COVID-19, even if shutdowns and stay-at-home orders continue. If implementing virtual consultations in your business feels overwhelming or confusing, I get it, you're not alone. This is a stressful time already. Businesses are struggling, consumer behavior is changing, and to adopt a whole new way of doing business, it's totally normal to feel overwhelmed by that. But in this training, I'm going to walk you through every step of the process. I'm going to answer your frequently asked questions so that we can make this something easy for you to adopt in your business so that you can keep cash flowing through COVID-19 and really beyond. So before we get any further into this, I just want to address one concern that I know quite a few dealers have had, and it's, if I'm not going to be busy anyway, if customers aren't going to be calling me, why the heck do I need to worry about implementing a virtual consultation program? And I get it. I know a lot of you are feeling defeated because your phones haven't been ringing nearly as much. The leads have kind of seemed to dry up. And yes, with the economy in the shape that it's in and consumer behavior changing so much as people are staying at home, buying behavior is different and it is going to be down, but it's not going to completely disappear. And I think that's a really important thing that window treatment dealers need to remember. Screen time is at an all-time high as consumers are self-quarantining at home, and they have a whole lot of time on their hands to be planning their next home improvement projects. We are still seeing tons and tons of searches for window treatment keywords. So it's really important to not only maintain the presence, but also to heavily advertise the fact that you are doing virtual consultations. If you completely stop taking appointments, you are going to lose out on business. That's a guarantee. People are still searching, and if they see that you're not taking appointments, they're going to move right on to the next business who is willing to engage with them now virtually. This is so important because not only will it give you cash flow for the coming weeks as things are getting tighter, we're going to explain a process where you can virtually sell and actually take the deposit to get you through these tough times, even if you can't place that final order. But it's also really important because you want to keep your sales pipeline full. When you fully open back up, whenever that time is, you want to be booked up with appointments. On top of that, we need to be adapting to today's digital consumer. We live in a day and age where you can get literally anything delivered to your door, and it's changing what customers expect from businesses. So we need to be able to engage people virtually. And the Blockbuster franchise didn't adapt to the way that customers were viewing movies, and they went out of business. I do not want that for the window treatment industry and for all the dealers across the country that we work with. So now is the time to adapt. As an added bonus, this is going to save you time as well. Instead of driving out to the customer's house and spending an hour or two or more measuring all of their windows only to find that they're not that serious about buying, you can figure that out in the virtual consultation process before you waste all of that time and make that effort. In this video, I'm going to explain a variety of different ways to offer virtual consultations. And while I would recommend doing it via video chat, that's not required. You can actually do a virtual consultation just over the phone as long as your customer has an internet connection and can also be browsing online. So we'll talk more about that in just a second. All right, so first question you need to ask yourself, who is going to do these virtual consultations? Is it going to be you or is it going to be one of your team members? Make sure it's someone who is great at selling, because this is not just a virtual phone call or chat, it really is a virtual sales process. Next, where are you going to be doing these virtual consultations? Are you going to be doing them from home, or if you have a showroom, doing them from your showroom? Some of our dealers are either going themselves to the showroom every day and offering virtual consultations, or having one of their team members do it from the showroom. And if you have a showroom, I think there's a nice advantage to that because you can walk around and show people your business as well as the samples and the displays. Next, decide how you're going to showcase your products to the customer during the virtual consultation. So normally when you can go to a customer's home, you can bring your sample books, you can bring handheld samples, you can use your iPad and display the products that way. But it's a little bit different in the virtual consultation. If your vendor provides a mobile selling app, that is a great thing that you can use to showcase the products and the fabrics and colors. But if not, you can use your website or your vendor's website. Again, I would make sure that the customer can actually browse not only just product photos, but actual specific fabric colors, swatches, all of that good stuff. That's going to be important in the selling process. Next, how will you do the virtual consultation? Will you do it via video chat? Will you do a phone call? Will you have the customer email pictures of their windows over or text pictures of their windows so that you can walk them through it over the phone, or maybe even just communicate with them via email or text message? There's so many different ways that you can go about the virtual selling process, and I think it's really important to give the customer those options. Let the customer choose how they want to interact with you. Yes, video chat would be ideal for a couple of reasons. You get to build that connection, see facial expressions. The customer can then walk you through their home and show you on video what their windows look like, but not everyone is going to be comfortable with that. I know not all window treatment dealers are going to be comfortable putting themselves on camera, and not all customers want to be on camera. So of course, if you are doing the video chat method, customers can still avoid just putting their face on camera, and they can simply just video chat, show you the windows, and then other than that, primarily do everything just audio or via email or text message. But I think it's really important to be flexible to the customer's needs and wants. I will say some dealers have chosen the phone because it feels more comfortable for them, and the technology of the video chat feels a little bit confusing or overwhelming. Don't worry about that piece. My first recommendation for that would be to do a practice video chat with a friend or family member. Once you do it once or twice, it really is, it's very easy and easy to pick up on. But that being said, for the specific technologies that we're going to recommend, we've got separate training materials to walk you through it step by step with screenshots. I promise you it's not as difficult as it may feel right now. So just keep an open mind with that. And that training material is available at whatsyourplan.solutions. So how do you train yourself or one of your team members to do these virtual consultations? I know for a lot of people, they're like, I'm not even sure what to say when I get on the virtual consultation. And my answer to that is just don't overthink it. It really is a very similar conversation virtually to the one that you would be having in person with the customer. But like I said before, I would recommend doing a practice round with a friend or a family member. If you have an employee, you can be the person to practice with that employee and do that virtual consultation and just have them kind of walk through the process and, go through a mock sale, so to speak. That will really help, and I promise you once you do it once or twice, it will not feel nearly as overwhelming. Next, how are you going to set up this video chat? What platform are you going to use? There are quite a few options, and again, we have separate training materials on these, so I'll just run through the options with you now. The first would be to plan to use your phone and have the customer use their phone to just do a video chat, or obviously a phone call if you go that route. But on the video chat route, for iPhones, you're going to use the FaceTime app, and for Androids, you're going to use the app called Google Duo. The nice thing about these apps is they come pre-installed on iPhones and Androids respectively, so there's no need for you or your customer to download any app. Of course, you can use really any video chat software. There's Skype, Zoom, Google Hangouts. If you plan to be sharing your screen with the customer during the virtual consultation, if, for example, you want to use a mobile selling app that your vendor provides and you want to share that screen so you can kind of walk the customer through the different products and fabrics that way, you absolutely can. One of my favorite platforms to do that on is Zoom. I think it's a great way to walk the customer through something, sharing your screen. You can also, of course, share your screen by being on your website or your vendor's website and walking your customer through it that way. The other option would be to get the customer if you're doing it over the phone, you would have them have either their iPad or computer up so that they can go to a website and kind of follow along with you, and you would just verbally guide them. Of course, in the video chat, you can also plan to verbally guide them through a website if you don't want to share your screen. That would just require the customer to also have, like I said, an iPad, another device, a laptop, a computer, so that they can also go to the website and you can verbally guide them on what to look at. Really, I don't think you need to be doing that the entire time. You're going to start the consultation out by asking questions and getting to know the customer. There's going to be a measuring portion, and then there's also going to be walking through the actual products and making decisions about the fabrics. So that's when you're going to want to either share your screen or have the customer follow along on a website. So next question, what prep work is the customer going to have to do before the virtual consultation? If you are doing it over the phone, I would recommend having that customer take pictures of their windows and then either sending them via email or text message to you so that you know what you're working with. You know what products you can recommend. And then regardless of whether you're doing it over the phone or via video chat, you want to offer the option of the customer measuring their windows ahead of time and give them resources to do so. Now, this is not a requirement. We don't want to give the customer too much homework and scare them off, but you can just let the customer know in an email beforehand to say, hey, if you measure your windows ahead of time, it will speed up the process. This is not required, but it is an option. And if you'd like to do this, we just need rough measurements. And here's a resource on how to measure your windows. And I know a lot of vendors provide measurement resources for their dealers and their installers as well. So if you have that material that you can share in an email, I think that's great. If nothing else, you can make your own video or just have some step-by-step instructions on how to measure your windows. I'm sure there are actually plenty of great articles if you Google it, if nothing else, and you want to just share a link to an article of how to measure your windows on Google. If the customer doesn't want to measure ahead of time, you can walk them through how to measure either on the phone or via video chat. Depending on how many windows they have, this may actually end up splitting the virtual consultation into 2 parts. If they have an entire house of windows and it's going to take them a long time to measure all of their windows, the first video chat or phone call may just be, all right, that introduction, of course, you're not just going to jump right into the measurements. You're going to start the process, get to know the customer, get to know what they're looking for. And then if they did not do that prep work to get you those measurements, you're going to explain to them how to measure and kind of walk them through that. If they have a bunch of windows, you may say, all right, great. We can, you can give me a ring back later today, or we can schedule part 2 of this virtual consultation later in the week, what have you. But you may want to split that up into 2 parts so that you're not sitting there on the phone or via video chat while they measure every single window in their house if they've got a bunch of them. Next, I've had some dealers say, where do I start with this virtual consultation? What do I say? I feel like I'm going to get on the video chat and freeze. And to that, again, do a couple practice rounds. But as far as the conversation goes, don't overthink it. It really is very similar to the same conversations you would be having with this customer in person. You've done this for a while. You know how to sell. You know how to connect with customers. It's really not as difficult as you think, so don't let yourself get in your own head. And for those of you who want a little bit more guidance, I will share how I would do it if it were me doing the virtual consultation, just how I would make that introduction. So I would say, hey there, my name's Chelsea Creekmore. How are you doing today? And then I would kind of probably go into, hey, how have you guys been holding up during all of this craziness? Is your family safe and healthy? And just kind of, get their feelings on the whole COVID-19 situation and kind of sympathize with them there. You guys getting stir crazy, stuck in the house? Well, hey, I really appreciate you making time for me today. I was really looking forward to connecting. And yeah, let me learn a little bit more about why you're buying today. What sort of window treatments are you looking for? And just kind of going into that. Do you already know what type of window treatment you want, or are you open to my recommendations? And then from there, well, one thing I want to say first. I have a dealer who's done virtual consultations for a while who said the question about why are you buying now? Why are you guys looking to buy now is really important because it helps figure out what their situation is. He's even said, sometimes I hear, I actually hate window treatments. I wish we could just leave nothing on the windows, but my husband really wants them, so here we are. That will really help you during the sales process because you'll kind of understand where the customer's coming from, who might be involved in the decision-making process, and all of that good stuff. Next, we're going to go into function questions. So, are you looking for a window treatment that's going to diffuse light or block it completely? Are you looking for something that can roll up and out of the way into the headrail? Are you looking for a window treatment that even when it's down, you can still see the view outside? Just kind of asking those questions. Do you need something that's going to help with energy efficiency? And figuring out all the functional needs that they have so that you can then make product recommendations. And of course you can go into design and what style they like and the decorations around their home. And again, doing it via video chat I think really does give you an edge there because you can see what their design style is around the home. At some point towards the middle of the call, you're going to want to start talking about pricing with the customer. If the customer has pre-measured their windows and already emailed that over to you before the call, then great, you are one step ahead. And if they didn't, you're going to want to at least have them measure one window in their house, especially if they have a window that they feel like is probably going to be similarly sized to many of the other windows in their house. So you can start throwing out ballpark pricing to them. So once they give you that measurement, you can say, oh, yeah, a honeycomb shade is going to be anywhere from this much to this much. You want to add modernization on, it's going to add roughly this much per shade. You start throwing out these ballpark prices, and if the customer immediately is like, whoa, that is way out of my budget, then you know you can scale back and recommend a less expensive product. But if you're flowing and things are working and the customer seems fine with the pricing, you can kind of move on from there. But I think throwing those ballpark prices out is really important on the virtual sales call, instead of just pitching them on this amazing product and waiting till the very, very end to bring up the price when you don't know if that is even in the customer's budget or not. I think most dealers will find that unless they got the measurements up front and ahead of time before the virtual consultation, it won't be a one consultation close. You're probably going to have some follow-ups, especially if they need to go back and finish measuring their windows, or if you got the measurements on the virtual consultation, but you need time to go back and put the quote together. So it might be a multi-step process, and that's okay. I will say, in my opinion, I think customers are going to need to see the fabric swatches in person before they make their final decision to put the deposit down. I know if it were me, I would want to see it in person, because holding my screen up, the coloring might be different and off, and having the actual fabric in person to see and feel and put in my windows, put it next to my furniture and floors, that would make a big difference for me. So I would suggest that you have your customer on the virtual consultation pick their favorite fabrics. I would say maybe 3 to 5 fabrics, maybe less, maybe more, whatever it is, but hopefully you can narrow it down as much as possible and then send them those fabrics in the mail. I know some vendors have an online portal that you can use to place a fabric swatch order to be delivered to your potential customer. And for other vendors, you may have to call customer service for this, but I think it's a really important part of the process. It just creates this higher level of service to offer this virtual consultation, this one-on-one, time where you can get design expertise and advice, and then fabric samples delivered to your door. We want to create an experience for our customers that's different than what they would get if they ordered from a big box store or placed an order online. Now, on the measurement piece, unless you're going to have your customer be responsible for measurements, which I know a lot of dealers are not comfortable with because it could be a remake disaster, you are going to plan to go out to your customer's house and confirm the measurements. Now, obviously, given what's going on in the world right now, that may not be possible for a while. So you are going to take those rough measurements that the customer gave you, and you are going to put a quote together based off of that. Of course, they're going to pick out their products and fabrics and all of that good stuff. So it should be a fairly good ballpark quote. Of course, you can let them know it's subject to change once you come out to confirm the measurements. And you'll also have to let them know, yes, it could be a while, but getting through this process, and once you approve the quote, and if we take the deposit today, it's going to make this happen a lot quicker for you. All I'm going to have to do when it's all safe and we've got the green light is just come out and confirm those measurements for you. We'll get your order placed and we'll be able to speed it right along. One way that our dealers are sealing the deal is to offer a discount to the customer if they place their deposit now. And that's how they're getting that cash flow now, even though they can't go out and finalize those measurements and place that order. So we have some dealers who are offering up to 20% off, which they have never offered before, and they've let their customers know, this is a special discount that we're only offering now because COVID-19 is, it's affecting us. We're a small business. So it's a way for you to get a great deal on your window treatments and also support a small business during this difficult time. So the plan is to get the customers through this virtual selling process, get that deposit, and then they're going to get first dibs when you get the green light and you can go back out and confirm their measurements. In your first week in business, and hopefully a couple of weeks back in business, when you can open your store, when you can go out to customers' homes again, will be lots of appointments to just confirm measurements and place that order. If you need help updating your website to promote your virtual consultations, to explain the process, to make it easier for your customers to get their virtual consultation, please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help. Thank you all so much for watching this training. I sincerely hope that this has helped you in some way to make it through this difficult time and also to be prepared for life on the other side of COVID-19. It's going to be a different world and a different way of doing business. For those of you who don't know, I was actually raised in the window treatment industry. My parents own 2 Hunter Douglas galleries, one in Kentucky and one in Ohio, and I worked there for 5 years before launching my marketing company. That's why I'm so passionate about this industry. I want my family to make it through this and thrive on the other side, and I want the same for everyone who is watching this video. Creekmore Marketing is our company, and we specialize in internet marketing, SEO, pay-per-click advertising, social media, retargeting, geofencing, website design, Anything that you need to drive traffic to your website and get leads from the internet, we can handle for you. So if you'd like more information on that, go to www.creekmoremarketing.com. And again, visit whatsyourplan.solutions for more information. That's our COVID resource website for window treatment dealers. And I know this is a time of uncertainty, but we can all take comfort in knowing that this will eventually end. And taking these steps now is going to set you up for success in the long run. Other than that, I hope you all are taking care of yourselves, taking care of your mental and emotional health and physical health, getting outside some, laughing a little, and just taking care of yourselves during this difficult time. Stay safe and be well.